Right, so for this video, we're talking about how to find slope and y-intercept given your calculator. So we're going to do it using this problem. We're going to do one problem with a table and then another problem with a graph. We're going to start with the table because it's a little bit easier. So what we do here, if we see a table and it asks us to find the slope or y-intercept, the first thing we need to do is we need to find 2 points on our table. So I'm just going to use my first 2 points, 0, 15, and 10, and 14.6. So I have these, remember them, 0, 15, 10, and 14.6. What I do is I go to my calculator. I start at the home screen like this. I go down to this kind of green square. It should say Add Lists and Spreadsheets to New Document. I click on that using the touchpad on my calculator, and I should get this screen. From this screen, what I do, I arrow up to A, I press X. This is going to be our column for our X values, and I arrow over to B, and I press Y. The one below this I leave empty, and here, now I can start entering my data in this area. So I go back to my problem. My first set of points was 0 for X and 15 for Y. So I'm going to enter this here. So 0 and 15. Notice how they go together. I don't put them on top of each other. They go, one goes in the X column and one goes in the Y column, just like you see it on your table. My next point was 10 and 14.6. So I'm going to enter it here. 10 over here is 14.6. So I only need 2 points for my table, so I'm done entering data into my table. It's important that for the next step, we don't have our cursor on any of our numbers. Our little cursor needs to be down here, just like this. So from here, you press Menu, scroll down to Statistics, select Stat Calculations. Then you scroll down to the third option, MX plus B. Again, I'm going to do that again. Clear this out. So Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, MX plus B, the third option. So in the X list, this is why we labeled our columns, our X list. We're just going to press X. I can arrow down. My Y list, I press Y. And then once I enter Y, I just press Enter and Enter again. So what I have here, I have my M is negative 0.04 and my B is 15. So I'm going to go back to the problem and write down my M and my B. So my M was negative 0.04 and my B was 15. So right off the bat, here I can get rid of some of my answer choices. I can get rid of F, because remember, M is slope, B is y-intercept. So, because this one, choice F does not have a y-intercept of 15. Let's look at choice H. Choice H does also not have a y-intercept of 15, so it's not that. So my choices are between G and J. The problem is I don't see a slope of negative 0.04, so I'm going to change negative 1.25, negative 1 over 25ths in my calculators. I want to see what it equals. So I'm going to go back to my calculator, go to calculate, I type in negative 1. Remember, fractions are divide. Negative 1 divided by 25, and since if I just press enter, it'll give me it as a fraction. I don't want the fraction, so I do negative 1 divided by 25, control enter. And look, what do you know? That's negative 0.04. So going back here is negative 1/25 is negative 0.04, so that matches. Our answer is G. All right, now we're going to do a graph problem. We're going to find the slope and y-intercept using our calculator from the graph. So this one basically just says we have weight and the cost, and we want to find the relationship shown in the graph. So to find slope given a graph, you remember we need 2 points. So I'm going to pick this one right here and this one right there. So this one is 0, 0. This one is 2, 10. So I have my 2 points. That's all I need to use my calculator to find the slope. So I go over to my calculator, go home, I arrow down to lists and spreadsheets. I go up here. Next to A, I press X. Next to B, I press Y. Now if you remember, this is our data from last one. We have to get rid of this. We can just write over it, just like it's pretty easy. So our first point is 0, 0. So I put 0 here, arrow over to this next box, and I press 0 there. Our next point is 2, 10. So we have 2 here, and I put 10 there. So again, numbers go next to each other. It's the X one first, then the Y. They don't go on top of each other. They go side by side. To get our values, remember we have to have our cursor not in our numbers, just like it is here. We press Menu, scroll down to Statistics, select Stat Calculations, and then MX plus B. X list, just the same as last time. We press X, scroll down, Y list, we press Y, and then we press Enter, and Enter again. And our M is 5, and our B is 0. So I go back here. Right. M equals 5, and B equals 0. So what we do here is remember, we want a y equals mx base b equation, so y equals mx plus b. So our y equals, our m is 5, so we put 5x plus 0. And we look for whichever one is closest, and that one is A. Remember, if we add 0, we can just leave it alone, so y equals 5x plus 0 becomes y equals 5x. And so there you have it. That is how you find slope and y-intercept given your calculator for a table and a graph.